Okay, great. Yes, so turning our words into gold, also known as getting our kids to listen the first time. And I think that it would be great to have our children and youth listen to the things we do the things we ask of them first time. So we're going to be talking about how to make our words count that's both loving and direct. If you're new to Love and Logic, or even if you're returning to it, before we talk about turning our words into gold, I want to introduce you to Charles Fay and his dad, Jim Fay, and Jim's friend, Dr. Foster Klein, who's a psychiatrist, actually started Love and Logic in the early 70s. And Charles is Jim's son. In fact, it's really fun. It was really fun to get trained by the two of them and Dr. Klein as well. But Jim and Charles had quite the banter going on as Charles talked about what their house was like when Love and Logic came to stay and how things changed. So it's really neat. So Charles is now in his 60s. His dad is in his 80s. His mom passed on a few years ago. So I'm excited to just introduce you to Charles and his wife, Monica. They're going to talk for 5 minutes about the Love and Logic kind of core principles. So we'll start with that and then we'll come back.
Hi, this is Monica Fay, the Love and Logic Institute, and I'm here with my husband, Dr. Charles Fay.
Are you ready to go on camera? Okay, you hate it, but there's another way to make amazing videos.
Hi there.
So you're gonna tell us a little bit about what is this magic stuff?
Yeah, what is it? When people ask, what is Love and Logic? And Love and Logic is practical, it's scientifically solid, it's compassionate, it's common sense, really, what it is. And it revolves around 5 core principles that are absolute non-negotiables. See, Love and Logic is not a script. It's not like we follow steps when we're working with the kids so much, but we ask ourselves, how can I fit in with these 5 core beliefs or principles as I'm working with the kid? The first one has to do with mutual dignity. And what that looks like is
wait,
talk to the kid in the same way that I'd want to talk to. It's the old rule.
Bit of respect. One way goes a long way.
Yeah, and I know some teachers that have sign up in their room that says, I will treat you with great respect so that you will know how to treat me. And I love that. I love that sign. So the dignity, the respect key part. Another part has to do with shared thinking. Whenever there's a problem that a kid experiences or a challenge or something they're kind of afraid of doing, like talking to their teacher or their coach about something, it's simple for us to jump in and do it for them.
Right.
But not effective. So the effective thing is to coach them on how to do it and send them off to do that specific thing. Talk to the teacher, talk to the coach. Maybe the kid's struggling with a math problem. Instead of us sitting down and basically doing it all for them, we might give them little bits of the answer and let them struggle, because struggle is such a big part of building self-esteem.
Yep. Character building.
Yeah, it is.
So we're standing beside, not between our kids and the problem, and not behind them, but always beside them. We're there to help.
Yeah, we're right there to help, but sometimes we don't.
Right.
Because with great wisdom, we try to step back and allow them to learn from the experience. So another core principle, Love and Logic, is shared control. And we know that control is a big deal.
I like control.
Yeah, we all like control.
A lot.
And if we don't get the control that we want, or those control needs met, it squirts out in other areas. Sometimes we get passive aggressive. Somebody says, hurry up, we slow down. Or somebody says, why you need to clean this stuff up, and it gets a little sloppier all the time. And so the science behind control is this: I give away as much of it that I can, that I don't want, that I don't need, and definitely the control.
Okay, I just realized that the video isn't showing. So let me stop sharing and then I'll restart the share and see if that will help. Okay, let's try this again.
And I'm here with my husband, Dr. Charles Fay.
Hi there.
So you're gonna tell us a little bit about what is this Love and Logic stuff?
Yeah, what is it? When people ask, what is Love and Logic? And Love and Logic is practical, it's scientifically solid, it's compassionate, it's common sense, really, what it is. And it revolves around 5 core principles that are absolute non-negotiables. See, Love and Logic is not a script. It's not like we follow steps when we're working with the kids so much, but we ask ourselves, how can I fit in with these 5 core beliefs or principles as I'm working with the kid? The first one has to do with mutual dignity. And what that looks like is I talk to the kid in the same way that I'd want to be talked to. Hey, it's the good old golden rule.
Just a little bit of respect. One way goes a long way.
Yeah, and I know some teachers that have sign up in their room that says, I will treat you with great respect so that you will know how to treat me. And I love that. I love that sign. So the dignity, the respect key part. Another part has to do with shared thinking. Whenever there's a problem that a kid experiences or a challenge or something they're kind of afraid of doing, like talking to their teacher or their coach about something, it's simple for us to jump in and do it for them, but not effective. So the effective thing is to coach them on how to do it and send them off to do that specific thing. Talk to the teacher, talk to the coach. Maybe the kid's struggling with a math problem. Instead of us sitting down and basically doing it all for them, we might give them little bits of the answer and let them struggle, because struggle is such a big part of building self-esteem.
Character building.
Yeah, it is.
So we're standing beside, not between our kids and the problem, and not behind them, but always beside them. We're there to help.
Yeah, we're right there to help, but sometimes we don't. Because with great wisdom, we try to step back and allow them to learn from the experience. So another core principle, Love and Logic, is shared control. And we know that control is a big deal.
I like control.
Yeah, we all like control.
A lot.
And if we don't get the control that we want, or those control needs met, it squirts out in other areas. Sometimes we get passive aggressive. Somebody says, hurry up, we slow down. Or somebody says, why you need to clean this stuff up. And, it gets a little sloppier all the time. And so the science behind control is this: I give away as much of it that I can, that I don't want, that I don't need, and definitely the control that I don't have, right? And then I have this pool of control left over that is stuff that I absolutely need, and I'm going to hold on to that. But when you give it away, you're more likely to get back or keep what you really need. So another way of looking at it is give it away on your terms so that the kid doesn't take it on their terms.
Sure.
Now, another core principle is empathy. And that means watching that sadness, that concern, genuine. I have to say genuine empathy for the kid or the adult when something goes wrong, and particularly when there's going to be a consequence coming up.
And we do hear that is the toughest skill to do. Empathy. It's not natural.
Right.
It's not easy, but it is oh so effective.
Oh so effective, and oh so relationship sustaining. We want people to have long-term relationships with their kids. And so it sounds like, oh, I love you so much, and when you were out with the church group, you toilet papered the youth leader's house, and what are you going to do to solve that problem? Right? A little Love and Logic right in there, and we hold that kid accountable. But see, the empathy makes the poor decision that the kid made the bad guy, and it keeps us in more of the good guy position, right? Okay, and so we have how many principles here? We have dignity, we have shared thinking, we have shared control, we have empathy, and it all flows into this one overarching principle. And the overarching principle is relationship. It's, I love you, kid. You are the apple of my eye. And we know that when kids fall in love with their parents, truly fall in love, and there's a respect element there, fall in love and respect with their parents, they're less likely to go out and do really dangerous things. They're less likely to rebel. They're still going to make bad decisions. But, you know, the huge piece of this is if I have that kind of relationship with my kid and they do something dumb, they're more likely to come and talk to me about it, admit it to me, so that I can be part of helping them solve it. And that becomes pretty important as they become
very powerful.
teenagers. Very important. And I don't know what it is, but life is better when you like kids, particularly when you're a parent or
When you have
teacher.
them.
Yeah, and the relationship component of Love and Logic brings us the joy.
Patients have experienced a wide variety of changes using daily essential nutrients. I would say the biggest ones would be mental clarity and emotional stability. No matter what they kind
Okay, I'll just share my screen again. So let's just take a look at those 5 principles real quick that Charles talked about. First of all, mutual dignity and respect is number 1 principle in Love and Logic. And no matter our age, we all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't always give that to my kids. And I don't mean to not respect them, but sometimes it just happens. And I have to remind myself that these are real human beings deserving of respect and dignity at all times, no matter what they do. And so I just love that that's one of Love and Logic's core principles and a good reminder for me as I continue to build a relationship with my kids. Number 2 is shared thinking. So I don't know about you again. It's easy for me to do the thinking for my kids, to think for both of us and to make decisions for them or to interrupt them or to assume I know what they mean. But in Love and Logic, one of the core principles is shared thinking, where let's say that they do create a problem, that we're not standing between them and the problem, or we're not standing behind them where we're unwilling to help guide and we're not in front of them solving the problems, but we're beside them, we're with them, and we're sharing the thinking and we're having conversations and we're walking this out together. The 3rd core principle is shared control. And we're born with a desire to control, and that's really good, because if we're in a dangerous situation, of course, we want to be able to take control of that. That's, we come wired that way. But we can also misuse or abuse control, sadly. And what happens is that if we aren't sharing control with our kids, then our kids will seek other ways to get control, passive aggressive ways, or actually aggressive ways, or passive ways. And so we learn in Love and Logic how to share control. In fact, our 2nd workshop together is all about that. How to share control, what that means, what consequences mean, and how to give out consequences, things like that. So we will be spending a lot of time talking about sharing control next session. The 4th core principle is empathy, and empathy is genuine sadness for our kids when something goes wrong. And I mean, I'm going to talk a lot about my mistakes tonight, but sometimes I want to either giggle at what they did or get irritated with what they did, or just be like, seriously, you did that again, And sometimes I've said that, sadly. A lot of times I just keep it in my head. But empathy is when we actually put ourselves in their shoes and we say to ourselves, I know how that feels. I've done that before. That's not fun. Oh, that's so sad. And to really, truly be empathetic, and especially before we're about to deliver a natural consequence to whatever problem they created. And a big, huge note, every single parent I talk to, since I've been doing this since, what's it been, 8 years now, and is that this is the toughest skill to master, is to be empathetic. So please don't beat yourself up if you haven't been empathetic, or if you're, on again, off again, that's okay. It's a skill that we we can continue to work at and have a fresh start every day. And then lastly, the single most important core principle in Love and Logic is relationship. And when our kids when we're in a loving and healthy relationship with our kids, studies show that they really are less likely to rebel. They're less likely to do things that are dangerous or inappropriate. And granted, they're still going to make bad decisions, but the beautiful thing about having a strong relationship with our kids is that when they make bad decisions, they're more likely to come to us and talk to us about it and invite us into the resolution. And so I can't emphasize relationship enough. And I'm so excited that one of our workshops, we're devoting completely to. It's the third workshop on how to build a long-lasting, healthy relationship with our kids. So those are the core principles. And now we're just going to jump into our topic for the night. And I'll be spending about probably 10 more minutes talking and then open it up for questions. I want to make sure that we leave at least 15, 20 minutes for any questions that you have, whether it's related to this topic or something else. So turning your words into gold. We're going to talk about 3 different skills and a tip. So when our kids don't listen the first time, what do you call that? What I call that is a hassle. I also call it frustrating and stressful. And when it happens multiple times a day, whether we're in a pandemic or not, I feel like we find ourselves at our wits' end with high cortisol levels and a bark that can bite. And what do these scenarios normally turn into? They normally turn into an argument, and arguments erode our relationships. And so we can find ourselves arguing with our 14-year-olds or our 4-year-olds or even our 2-year-olds. And really the number one problem across our nation that parents say is hard for them and that they deal with is their kids not listening the first time and it leading into arguments. So a few skills I want to share with you. You can experiment with these skills in any situation at any time. You might find that they work in tandem or they work alone, but I use the word experiment because just like we were talking with our 10-year-old the other day, and we said, hey, Abby, before we adopted you, and we adopted her when she was 12 months old, we said, how many kids did we have before you? And she's like, none. And we were like, exactly. We've never done this before. We've never had a 10-year-old. We never had a 1-year-old. We're new at this. And for any of us where our kids come to us biologically or through foster care or through adoption, that first kid, we've never done it before. And any other kids we have after that, they're all different. And so that's why I call these experiments, so that if they go well, you can say, yay. And if they don't go well, you can say, it was just an experiment. I'm going to try something different next time. So skill number 1 is choices. To give your child a choice. And you want to make sure and give them choices that you're happy with, that you would be fine with. First of all, don't give them choices when give them choices when things are going well, not when anyone is grumpy. Because I don't know about you, but when I need to make a decision, but I'm either grumpy or mad or sad or irritated, I'm not, my frontal cortex is not engaged. My logic is not engaged. Instead, I feel really upset. I just don't make good decisions. And the same is true with our kids. So just make sure everyone's in a good space before you give them choices. And this is what I mean by choices. For example, would you like to watch shows or have screen time for 30 minutes or 60 minutes? Would you like to clean your room now or after dinner? Would you like to mow the lawn on Saturday or Sunday? And what these choices do is it goes back to that shared control piece. I really wouldn't want to be with someone who's telling me what to do all day long, where I don't get any kind of say in the matter. Even as with Abby as a 1-year-old, we started giving her choices. Would you like to wear stretch pants or jeans? Would you like to wear the red socks or the blue socks? Would you like to help me take out the garbage? Here, would you like to grab this corner? Let's go out together. Or do you want to stand here and watch me walk out? We were giving her choices from the very beginning because sharing control empowers people. And so when you're giving your kids choices, they feel like they're a part of it and they feel empowered and they're more likely to listen because they feel included in the relationship. The next skill is empathy. And if or when your kids don't listen, should I just say when they don't listen, give an empathetic one-liner, especially following whatever that natural consequence is. So first of all, empathy. Empathy sounds like what we talked about earlier, where we really kind of step into their world. Whether they're a teenager, we try to remember what it was like when I was a teenager, or when they're just little guys, maybe we don't remember being 2 or 3 years old, but we can imagine that their world is all those little decisions and all those little things that happen to them. And that can be really hard. And so we try to step into that space and we say something like, oh, this is so sad, or oh, what a bummer. I know some parents who just go, oh, and they just pause. And so start with empathy, just that, think about a one-liner, 4 or 5 words, not any more than that, because we don't want to get into lecturing mode, but just a few words. What a bummer. Oh, that's so sad. Ah, darn it. Something like that. And then if there is a consequence, then it's the natural consequences. And so, maybe they didn't turn their device off or the TV off when it was screen time was over. And so they're still watching it. And so it's like, oh, this is so sad. Screen time is over. And then you turn the device off. Or they didn't clean their room like they said they would when they made that choice. Oh, after dinner, then their room wasn't clean when they went to bed. Oh, okay, that's a bummer. I'll clean your room. Which of my chores would you like to do? They didn't mow the lawn, say on Saturday or Sunday. Okay, I'm happy to mow the lawn if the price is right. And maybe there's some of their allowance that they're going to give you for you mowing the lawn. But it starts with empathy and then follows with the natural consequences. I want to give you a second to think of what your one-liner would be. And the key is thinking of a one-liner that you can say without sarcasm and without anger. So for me, I often say, oh, this is so sad. I used to say, what a bummer. But if you can't say that, if you're like, I could never, I would just say, oh, this is so sad. Then that's not your one-liner. So if it said with sarcasm or anger, then that's not what you want to pick. So I just want to give you a second to write down or type out for yourself, what would your one-liner, your empathetic one-liner be when your kiddo or youth isn't listening or makes a bad decision? If you want, feel free to put your one-liner in the chat box. So you can also try it on for size. You can see how it works. Practice your one-liner. Put it on sticky notes if you need to. And the reason I say that is because I feel like there's a big, huge red button on my chest and my kids are pushing it all the time. So because they're pushing all the time, because they're kids, and that's just, they're going to test the boundaries all the time, right? But when that happens, my fight, flight, or freeze is engaged. So I have to find a way to engage with my frontal cortex. I have to find a way to pull the logic out. And if I memorize my one-liner, then I can just say my one-liner. It's right on the tip of my tongue so that I'm not like going into yelling mode or lecture mode or, all those things that are more natural to do. So our last skill is what we call enforceable statements. And so these are statements that are actually enforceable. And the key here is that basically never tell a stubborn child what to do. Instead, tell them what you're willing to do or allow. And I hear a lot of parents say, I just have such a strong-willed child, or I have very strong-willed children. And the truth is, I've never not met a strong-willed child. And I think having a strong will is really great, actually. We just have to learn how to guide that, and how to, walk through that in a healthy way. So, but when we tell our stubborn child, I'm sure you can relate to this even at work or wherever you find yourself every day. If somebody's telling you what to do all the time, I want to do the opposite. And so instead of telling our children what to do, we're going to tell them what we are willing to do or allow. So instead of go to your room or get over here now, those elicit things that are like, no, first of all, I'm afraid. Second of all, no, I'm not doing what you said. So that's exacerbated when we make statements that we can't actually enforce. I still remember my parents. I'm almost 48, and I still remember my parents when I was a teenager, ninth grade. That was a long time ago. And them telling me that I was grounded for life. And I'm not grounded for life. They couldn't enforce that. So enforceable statements start with you may, or I will, or feel free to. So here's some examples. I allow kids who brush their teeth to enjoy treats instead of brush your teeth. I allow video games in this home as long as they aren't causing problems, instead of stop spending all your time playing video games. What I was very tempted to tell my son before I left the house tonight. Another example, my fee for driving kids who miss the bus or are tardy is $5 per passenger, instead of hurry up, we're going to be late. So let me tell you, this enforceable statement piece was a game changer for me, and it's been a game changer for a lot of parents that I talk to. This is where your words really, they're like gold. Your kids learn that your yes is yes and your no is no. Your words really matter. You say what you mean and you mean what you say. My daughter literally just said that to our son the other day. She's kind of, for her personality, she's sort of connected more with love and logic. And my son is more like, let's push the boundaries a lot more, all the time. And Abby literally said to him, Lukey, do you not realize that mom and dad mean what they say and they say what they mean? And she just walked away. It was really funny. That's one thing you'll get to know about love and logic is your kids will either use it on you or you'll hear them using it on each other. It's very, very entertaining and actually quite wonderful. But these enforceable statements really are where your words turn into gold. And it took me some time to really put this into practice. I realized that I was just kind of saying blanket statements and just kind of that go to your room, get over here now kind of thing. But as I practiced turning that into an enforceable statement, it really changed a lot of things. In fact, it even lowered my stress. And so I encourage you to experiment with this, and I would love to know how it goes. And so the last thing is a tip. And this is that to never, never, never remind. I promise you, don't remind. And it's so hard to not remind. But never, never, never remind. Our kids and our youth will always come to need at least the same number of warnings and reminders as they are given. So some of us are just like, why do I have to remind you so much? Well, don't remind them. Don't remind them. And we'll talk next week about what does it look like when they forget to do something. Now, granted, they might actually forget, but sometimes they don't forget. They just, don't want to do it. We'll talk about what consequences can look like in those scenarios. But I want to encourage you that as you practice these skills, you're going to find that there's, first of all, arguing is going to stop. And then there's going to be no more nagging, no more reminders, no more arguments. It's just, I mean what I say and I say what I mean. And when things don't go well for your kiddo or your youth, then we let the natural consequences do the teaching. And as Charles talked about in his 5 core principles, he basically said, let the consequences be the bad guy, and we remain the good person, as it were. We're standing next to our kid saying, oh, this is so sad, and I'm here if you need me, rather than becoming sort of the enforcer or the one who's standing in front of your kiddo. So with that, I want to just do one more slide and then open it up for questions. And I see a few questions coming in. Oh, yay, I see. That's so fun. Okay, yeah, I want to get back to some of your, I see that some people put their one-liners in there, so that's great. But this is the love and logic in Love and Logic. I want to read here a quote from Jim and Charles. It takes a great amount of love to set limits and allow our kids to experience the consequences of their poor decisions. When we do this, they learn the following logic. Every choice I make has consequences. Life is better when I make good ones. Woohoo! So a few one-liners I'm seeing with the empathetic here is, uh-oh, yes, uh-oh. There's actually another skill in Love and Logic called the uh-oh song. And that's for 2 years old to 6 years old. That's just an amazing skill. So your younger years, let me know if you want to learn about that skill. But uh-oh, oh, I'm sorry, bud. Yeah. Wow, this is so frustrating, so sad, so maddening. She says, is this empathetic? Absolutely. If you discover what emotion is your kiddo feeling and name that emotion, that's really healthy. My son and I almost got in an argument this afternoon, actually. I'm like practicing this presentation. I always practice presentations, and both my kids were homesick these last couple of days. So I didn't have the time that I had planned on having originally. So anyways, too long of a story to tell you the whole thing, but basically I noticed his emotion and I said, oh, I've been frustrated before. And then he just burst into tears and he was like, that's what I am frustrated. And he's like, I feel like you never listen to me. You never understand me. And he just, which of course isn't true. But I was like, oh, yeah, I felt that way before. So yes, if you can name the, yeah, that you must feel really mad. I can tell you feel really mad. Oh, so yes, that's awesome. Mary says, oh no. Yeah, that's great. Those are great. I'm excited for all of you to use those and try those out. Any other, or are there any questions tonight that I can brainstorm with you about? I want to just give you a minute to type anything in. I'm looking over here at the chat box. I know one question that came in over email had to do with video games, and the parents said that they will give their kiddo a certain amount of time to play video games. I think it was also screen time. So maybe screen time in general, whether it's shows or video games. But then the kiddo doesn't want to stop playing on their device when it's time. And so then they give in, which is so easy to do. All of us have been there. All of us have done it, where we give in and we say, okay, one more minute or one more show, or maybe we feel bad because they're halfway through a show and we want them to be able to finish it, but it really is time to be done, whatever the case may be. And for that scenario, I recommend starting out with a choice. And using a timer, depending on the age of your kid. Obviously with a teenager, you wouldn't use a timer. But with your younger ones, maybe 11 and under, give them a choice first. And again, when you're happy, give them a choice saying, would you like to have 30 minutes of screen time or 60 minutes or whatever works for you. Remember, you want to be happy with any choice you give your kids, and you don't want to give them more than 2 or 3. So just 2 or 3 choices and let them decide. And then when it comes time, say, okay, and use a timer. So when you show them, okay, 30 minutes on the timer here. Or maybe if they use a device, set 30 minutes on the device, whatever it is. When the timer's up, okay, it's time to be all done. And then if they argue with you about it, use your empathetic statement. Oh, this is so sad. And just, would you like to hand me the device or should I go ahead and take it? Oh, you don't want to hand it to me? That's fine. I can take it. Okay, bud. Okay, let's move on. And you just move on. So there's more that we can explore with that, but I would say choices and then empathy, empathetic statement. Question here, do you preface not giving reminders with reminding them you won't be giving reminders? That's a great question. And no, you don't tell them that you're not going to give them reminders. So just go for it. And, it might feel weird. You might feel like, am I being mean? But you're not. You're raising responsible children. You're raising a family team. And so, yeah, you can just, do choices. And then, so they're feeling empowered, like kind of that example, do you want to mow the lawn, Saturday or Sunday, or, that's for your teenagers kind of thing. You put the scenario in place, you fill in the scenario for what you're facing, and then don't remind them. And then it's, or this is such a bummer if they didn't do, say, that chore or whatever it might be, and then you come up with the natural consequence. So another question is, I have a hard time giving natural consequences. I like to make up unnatural ones. My brain does not work that fast sometimes. Do you have any tips? Yes, me too. It's actually hard in the moment sometimes to come up with a natural consequence, especially if we're mad. And listen, friends, it's normal to get mad. That's an actual emotion. It's just what we do with when we get mad. So first of all, it depends on the age. And with this participant, I'm not sure the ages of your kids. Molly, if you could put your ages in there, that'd be helpful. But so my first thought on that is to say this. Oh, this is so sad. I'm going to do something about that, but not right now. I'll talk to you later. And then you just walk away. 6 and 8. Okay. So yes. So what I just said would work with a 6 and 8-year-old. So yeah, if you don't know what to do, you don't have to do anything. I think I've made most of my bad decisions when I'm too sad or too mad to make decisions. I make the best decisions when I've slept on it. I sleep on it. Maybe I need to talk to a friend about it. Maybe you need to talk to your partner about it. Maybe you need to talk to a friend, whatever it is, but it's okay to say, this is such a bummer and I'm going to need to do something about this, but not right now. I'll talk to you later. Some of your kids might chase you down. Tell me now. Tell me right now. I just don't think good when I'm this upset, and I'm really upset. I love you. I love you so much. But I'm going to need to sleep on it. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. And then if they just won't leave you alone, you just keep repeating yourself. Just go brain dead, as if you're like the Charlie Brown teacher. Want, 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 want. It's just like, I'll talk to you about this later. 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 I mean, honestly, sometimes you just have to do that. Some of these things are hard at first, and your kids aren't going to thank you right now for being an awesome parent and working hard, but they are going to thank you later. I know that when I had kids, I thanked my parents a whole lot. My parents actually started using Love and Logic when I was in 3rd grade. And I remember the day that things changed and I was not happy. So, but did I thank them when I was 30 years old becoming a parent? I sure did. Absolutely. So any suggestions for when the child doesn't care about the consequence? Their kids are 12, 9, 8, and 5. Yeah, just let them not care. That really frustrates me. I have my youngest just is kind of like, and he said that before. He's like, I don't care. I just don't care. And that's fine. They don't have to care. The consequences still stands. You could explore you know, if the consequence isn't natural enough or doesn't fit the scenario as well, you could think about that. And Tom, let me think about what I would also say, and this is hard to do, and because I'm a justice person, I want them to care and I want it to matter to them. I really, really do, because that is like the justice part of me. But I have to kind of lay that down, I guess. And just know that they just tell yourself, you know, they act like they don't care right now. And that's part of their front. You know, it's like, you're not going to get to me. I'm just going to act like I don't care. Especially your 12-year-old might do that more than your others. Your 12 and 9-year-old might do that more than your others. Depends on their personality though. My 7-year-old does this. But I'm going to email you, Tom, a few more ideas around that concern. Because I have a few more thoughts, but they would push us past 8 o'clock, and I don't want to keep everybody. But I would say, first of all, it's okay that they don't care. Trust me when I say they will end up caring. Trust me. And then your justice can be like, yes, I knew you would care. You don't want to say that out loud. Just say that to your partner or to your friend. But inside you can say, yeah, I got you. We got to have a little fun. I hope it's okay that I try to have a little fun parenting. Okay, a couple other participants is, I really like the idea of telling them you do your best thinking when you're less mad or sad. That seems like modeling a really healthy behavior and coping skill. And that's right, Doretha. That's actually what I experienced with my son this afternoon is, you know, I just mirrored his feelings and I tried to stand beside him. I really wanted to get really mad because what he did was really maddening. And I know all of you, as my new best friends, would also be mad with me if I told you the story. But as we worked through it, it was actually one of the best things that he and I have processed together. So yeah, I agree. And I think it's been really good for my kids to know that, you know, I do get mad, and my husband, he gets mad, but we just say it. We just name it. I feel really mad right now, and I don't make good decisions when I'm mad. I love you too much to argue, and we'll talk about this tomorrow. And we just leave it at that. Tom wrote, I think in the moment they don't care, but they do later. Exactly, Tom. They do later. And just tell yourself that. Just tell yourself they're going to care later. Okay, 7:49. Excuse me. Got spring allergies going on. I don't have COVID, I promise. Okay, any other questions? And feel free to email me as well. I'll show you my email address here at the end, and I emailed everybody too yesterday, if you got that email. So we're gonna just do some giveaways as we wrap up here. Oh, questions. Oh, there's my cute son, Luke, on my little mini Trailblazer. I picked that picture because we're on a journey with our kids, aren't we? And you know, we're trying to figure this out together, and we're all growing. When I left the house today with my son, I gave him a high five and I said, buddy, look how we're growing. Mama didn't yell, and you told me how you really feel without screaming. And so we're doing this. We're on a journey together. And I love these smiles. We can remember that, you know, relationships are our goal. That's what, you know, connection is our goal. That's why we do everything that we do. So it's going to be okay. So some giveaways here, and you do have to be present to win. And I'm not sure if I saw all these folks here, but every week each workshop, I'll give away some things. So Lacey, I'm going to close the chat box. I don't know if I saw Lacey's name or not. Maybe you guys can let me know if you see Lacey, or Lacey, let me know if you're here. I just picked random people to keep it fair. I don't know. You're all new friends of mine now. I know a few of you, but I don't know most of you. So I really just picked random people. And for Lacey, if you're here, there's this book I'm gonna give to you called Tickets to Success, Techniques to Lead Children to Responsible Decision Making. Really, really powerful. My husband always tells me when I coach these classes to let everyone know that the hardest thing for him growing up is that his parents made all the decisions for him. He had a helicopter, what we would call a helicopter mom, who would sweep in to rescue him of anything. And he had what we would call a drill sergeant dad, who just barked orders and just told him what to do and didn't let him make any decisions. So my husband's perspective going into college was, I'm not capable. I'm not capable to make decisions. And it really affected his self-esteem. So that's something that's such a gift, the gift of problem solving that we can give to our kids. And that's what this book talks about. It builds our self-esteem when we struggle and when we get through that with our parent by our side. So that's what this book is about. Okay, I had backups in case Lacey wasn't here. The other person I drew for this is Alicia Morales. Is Alicia here? I don't know. I don't think I saw her name. And then the other person, in case Alicia wasn't here, was Guy. Is Guy here? I don't think so. Well, I'm going to pick one of y'all to win this because I'll look back at the participants and I'll get this to you. Amanda Stanley, excuse me, I'm not sure if Amanda is here, but this is an audio, a CD audio called Helicopters, Drill Sergeants, and Consultants. And so these are basically on parenting styles and the messages they send. And our goal is to be more of a consultant where we are standing beside our kids, walking through this journey together, rather than hovering and making all their decisions or barking and making all their decisions. And then the last one is for Josh Miller, but did we see Josh? I think I might have. Nope. Oh, I do think I see Amanda. Oh, Amanda Ross. Okay, the next person was Doretha. So I know Doretha's here. So this is yours, and this is Parenting Teens with Love and Logic. So this is a book, and Doretha, I'll get in touch with you for this book. So yeah, each week I'll give away at least 3 goodies. And I see Molly, I think I need that CD. Maybe that's too bossy. Nope, Molly, it's yours. You got it. If somebody else wants a success book, just put it in the chat and you can have it. Okay, and Molly, you said talked about being bossy. So feeling like your 8-year-old has been saying that you're bossy. How do I get better at this? So I'll email you about that. That's a great question. Okay, Mary. So Mary and Molly. Okay, so I'll get in touch with you both to deliver this to y'all. So lastly, next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about No One Wins a Power Struggle. So that's about how to share control. And what this is, I mean, besides talking about relationships, I think No One Wins a Power Struggle is one of my personal favorites because it's been amazing to empower my children instead of being a power struggle with them. So I'm excited to talk with you about that. So it's all about sharing control, and we'll also be talking about natural consequences, the keys to giving natural consequences. Same day, same time, same link. There's my email address if you want to send me any questions or thoughts, strongliving34@gmail.com. I want to confirm that it's still okay to share this recording with other people who couldn't be here. So if any of you feel like there was anything too personal, just send me a chat and let me know that you don't feel comfortable with that. And then lastly, I just want to tell you that you're awesome. You are awesome. And I feel like we don't tell ourselves that enough. I just want to applaud you for being here. You're awesome parents and caregivers. proof that you're here in this class. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be here. We're all learning, and I just want to encourage you to laugh more and to dance more. Because of COVID, I've been playing a lot more dance music in our house, and we dance more, literally dance more. I'm just like, I don't know. We're going to be drinking or we're going to be dancing. So I'm going to choose the healthy option to dance. And so I just want to encourage you. It sounds goofy, but we got to laugh more, and dancing is really helpful. And yeah, I just wanted you to know that you got this, and you are exactly who your kids need. You're exactly who your foster kids need, who your nieces or nephews, whoever's in your household that you're caring for, you have what it takes. And so thank you for being a part of this. I look forward to seeing you next week. And don't forget to send me any questions or comments if you have them. Hope you guys all have a great week. Also, let me know when you experiment with these skills. Please send me an email and let me know how it goes, or bring back stories next Tuesday to share with our group. So see you all next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 克莱尔是不是那个 book 给妈妈了？你听见没
Bye. 再见。
？Yes. Bye bye.
谢谢。
I'm so glad. Did you hear me?
Yes. You
Yeah,
want,
I'm wondering that book. Who gets that book?
you do.
Okay, how to get it?
I have, let's see here, Mary. Let me make sure I have your information. Okay, I don't see you on the list here, Mary. So what's your phone number?
My phone number 509
Okay,
432
432.
15. Yeah, 432 1548.
Okay, I got it. Great. Yeah, I'll send you a text so I can deliver this to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You will mail to me, or
I will bring it to your house if that's okay. Or apartment. Yeah, okay.
also I can pick up, because every day I need to go to the school, set them to school and pick up them.
Yeah,
If
which
you
school, sure, which school do your kids go to?
my daughter in the Prospect Point.
Okay, that's where my kids go.
Oh,
What grade?
third grade.
Oh, okay. My kids are first grade and first grade and fourth grade.
Okay, so probably you
Why
can
don't I
drop
just-
to the,
Yeah, I could just leave it at the front desk tomorrow morning and put your name
Yes.
on it.
yeah. You know, I have my son is in the middle school, 8th grade, and also every day we have almost have the argo. So I want to see you lecture and turn your word into the gold. I think, oh, I have to learn. Let them listen to me first.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's great.
So how about that CD? Do you have an extra one I can borrow and later I return you?
I will see if I do. If I have an extra one, you can definitely borrow it.
Yeah, I think I definitely say I need to learn some skill to cooperate with my kids. Everybody is not perfect, even me. Sometimes maybe they think, Mom, you are not
I know.
perfect.
Yeah, we're not perfect. I know, and it makes it hard. It'd be easier if we were perfect, but we're not. So we just
Yes.
have to learn together.
Yes, I like your lecture, and today is I learned something. I will practice.
Good. I'm so glad, Mary. That's awesome. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will leave this little book at the at Prospect Point's office for you tomorrow. If I have any extra CDs, I'll leave that for you as well.
Yes. And today you give away 3 books or 2 books.
2 books. So the
So
parenting with teens, and then the tickets to success. That's the one you're getting.
yeah,
Yeah.
the things is, do you have one I can borrow?
Sure.
Yeah,
I
give
do.
me that one because I have the teenager. I think I have to learn how to manage him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
mark
no problem.
which one you can give me, which one you need me return, so I can read that one, borrow one first.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bless you. I will talk to you again soon.
Yes, I look forward to the next lecture.
Okay, sounds good. One on.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just said one on. Good night.
Yes, you are right. Exactly correct.
Oh.
Yeah, but good night.
Fun. Good night.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.